I'm Carol Boyce. I teach at Kittrell School in Waterloo, Iowa, and I've been teaching 27 years, and my degree is in library science, and I have an endorsement in gifted education, and I teach gifted students. The learning activity that we taped today covered several aspects of the unit that I taught the students about biography. There were several things happening. They have written interview questions, and they have also used the internet to do some research to gather information for those questions, as well as they are also working on a HyperStudio program to put it all together. For the goals and objectives of this biography unit, I really wanted to update what I had been teaching before in biography, and I feel that by having students learn about and read about movers and shakers in our society, that they can, by analyzing their own characteristics, have a better idea of what it's like to be a contributing member in our society. When we thought about assessing the whole unit, I had my students help me develop an assessment form or a rubric, and the assessment that I will be looking for is the documentation of the resources that they have used in their research, both print and non-print, and I'm looking for how many resources they have used. I had asked them to use not only 2 sources on the internet or with technology, but also to get resources available from other print materials. I will be assessing how they have written their interview questions. The goal of the unit was to have them write divergent questions, and so I will be looking at those. And then I will be evaluating their typed interviews. Some mistakes will be okay, but hopefully they'll have a nice format and good font choice, and they have done spell check and things like that. And then I will also evaluate how they created their HyperStudio card. I'm looking for the choice of interview question on that HyperStudio card that really reflects a characteristic of a good role model. This activity, or this whole unit, would take, in a class like mine where we meet once a week, it has taken us about 2 months. In a classroom that meets every day, it of course would be less, but we've allowed quite a bit of time to be able to complete everything in the unit. I think one of the most exciting things that I have learned in doing this unit is watching the students as they create interview questions. They have taken a unit that I taught earlier, Bloom's Taxonomy, and applied it, and they're getting it. They didn't always get it at the beginning of that unit. And not only that, they are really integrating and analyzing and critically thinking about the research that they have done. This teaching strategy that I chose was to emphasize the critical thinking and the higher order thinking skills. At all times I wanted my students to be analyzing the data, the research that they were gathering, and I wanted them to be able to put that to use for another purpose. So that took some evaluation skills, and I also wanted to be able to provide frequent feedback for them. So by having them work on the unit and doing different things at different times, I was able to get around and give more feedback. After teaching this unit with technology infused throughout it, I realized that I really need to go back and take a look at some of the other things that I teach and look at ways I can put technology into it to help the units and the lessons be more meaningful for the students. Students have loved having technology in this unit. When we talked about starting a biography unit, I got the normal groans and moans, but when they found out that they would be using the internet to do searches, CDs, other resources available besides the books, they really became hooked. And I think that's been one of the exciting things about the project, is to see them being so willing to do their research and take notes and document their sources and then use that in their interviews. I think students are adapting to the technology sometimes better than I am. When a problem comes up, they're quick to look at how to solve the problem, and together we work on it. So I think they're very comfortable with technology. In what we videotaped today, the parts of the model, the technology model, I believe were highlighted were the critical thinking and decision-making skills that the students used as they took their research and then applied it through the interview and the HyperStudio program. And I also feel that there were lots of opportunities for the students to conduct evaluation through listening to each other's comments about their famous person in the research that they had done. And I also was able to give lots of positive feedback to each of the students in their work.